day we discussed the fact that Gal Gadot came out and in an interview said that James Gunn and Peter Safran suggested that, maybe Wonder Woman 3 isn't scrapped and maybe they'll work on developing a Wonder Woman 3 together, which got us wondering, how would that or wouldn't that fit into a new DCU? And that brings us to today's Mint Mobile hotline question of the day. If you guys have a question for our podcast or one of our YouTube videos, go ahead and call it in anytime 24/7 at 951-268-4259. And the topic of today's question is, could they run Snyderverse and James Gunn's new universe at the same time? Check it out.
Hi, John and crew. My name is Sean, and I'm calling from Lincoln, Nebraska. And I was watching your show yesterday, and it's something you said that got my attention. What if Gale's third Wonder Woman movie is going to be its separate universe? And then what you said also is like, what if Henry's Superman movie can be a separate universe? Like all the Zack Snyder stuff could be its own separate universe, and the James Gunn's universe can be its own thing. Why don't they just do that? Have Henry come back and do his Superman 2, have Gale do her third Wonder Woman movie, keep Zachary Levi as Shazam in their universe, and this universe could be James Gunn's. Why they can't just do that?
All right, Sean, thanks a lot for calling that in. And yeah, look, ever since, and even before that quote from Gal Gadot came out suggesting that maybe there is going to be a Wonder Woman 3 that her and James Gunn and Peter Safran will develop together. And even long before that, people saying, well, why not just do both? Why not have the old DCEU, as some people refer to as the Snyderverse, along with a new DCU, and just have them as separate universes and run them all together as the same time? Now, I understand why you'd ask me that, because I am a Henry Cavill guy, right? I am a 100% in my DNA Henry Cavill guy. I'm in a very one-sided bromance with Henry Cavill, and I love him as Superman, and I love his Superman stuff. However, not a lot of people share my point of view on that. So why shouldn't DC do those two things? Run Snyderverse, run James Gunn's new DCU at the same time. Let's go over 4 reasons here, okay? So let's look at this. 4 reasons why I don't think they're going to want to run Gunn's and Snyderverse at the same time. Number 1 is expense and resources. Do you know how expensive it is to make one of these movies? They're not cheap. Even the cheaper ones run in the hundreds of millions of dollars, right? 130, 150, 200, $250 million. I mean, it's incredibly expensive. And it's time and resources. You're using up your producers' times. You're using up your studio time. You're using up, your marketing budgets, all that kind of stuff. So it's not really practical to try to run 2 separate DC comic universes at the same time. It's just financially not feasible. So that's the first reason why you don't keep running the DCEU, aka the Snyderverse, along with the DCU at the same time. A second reason is you're undermining the new DCU. Imagine this. Imagine you start dating a new girl. It's nice, isn't it? Isn't that special? The first, couple of months of that new relationship, she hasn't farted in front of you yet. It's all good stuff. It's all flowers and rainbows and everything that's positive, right? But wait a minute. What if she says, oh, by the way, on the weekends, I'm still going to go out with my ex? Is that cool? I don't know. It's 2023. Maybe you are cool with that, but that's going to take a little bit of the shine off of it, isn't it? Like if James Gunn comes on with Peter Safran, they got this big plan and all this kind of stuff. And the first thing you're going to do is, oh, by the way, we're also going to run this separate old Snyderverse stuff. And we're going to keep doing that. So you're you're undercutting and you're taking out the knees of the new DCU. You're compromising the new DCU before you even get started. And that is just, what's the technical word? Stupid. It's just be incredibly stupid for them to do. All right. So the first reason is expense and resources. And reason number 2 is you're undermining the new DCU. A third one would be you're putting Warner Brothers now in a position where it's competing against itself, right? Now you might say to yourself, well, just put them both out there, let them fight it out, see which one wins. But what's the advantage if you're Warner Brothers here? It's like going to the casino and playing roulette. and you've got $100 to play roulette, and you decide I'm going to put $50 down on red and $50 down on black, well, that means I'm going to win. No, it means you can't possibly win. Either way, you're going to lose. You're either just going to straight up break even, or the 0 or double zero is going to hit and you're going to lose. Either way, it's a non-winning strategy. And you're just going to create an environment where if you've got, I don't know, 2 Green Lanterns going, you're going to have a bunch of people saying that Green Lantern sucks. No, that Green Lantern sucks. You're just putting WB in a position where it's competing itself. Now, you might be able to legitimately say, well, can't you put forth that maybe they're already in that position? I mean, after all, we got Matt Reeves's Robert Pattinson-led Batman. True. But that was a pre-existing situation before James Gunn and Peter Safran took over. And more importantly, a ludicrously successful thing that's currently going on. And I would suggest the fact that you've already got that Batman thing going makes it even more important that you just don't try to continue on with the DCEU, because then what are you going to have? You're going to have James Gunn's new universe. You're going to have the existing DCEU, aka the Snyderverse, and you're going to have standalone Elseworlds like Joker stuff. It's making it actually even more important that they don't venture in that direction. So, expense and resources, undermining the new DC, the new DCU. Warner Brothers would be then just ultimately competing with themselves. The fourth thing is this, and this is one that's got to be emphasized the most. The current DCEU is a complete and utter failure. Now, I'm not saying it's always been a complete and utter failure. Think of it like this. What's a good, reliable car? A Honda Civic. Let's say you've got a 1996 Honda Civic, right? And you got this car. Well, maybe at one point it had potential, and maybe at one point it was actually a pretty serviceable vehicle that you could use, had some pros, had some cons. But that was in 1996 when you were driving it. Today, that Honda Civic's not looking so good. And you're saying to yourself, well, instead of just getting a new Rivian, instead of going out and grabbing a Rivian, why can't we just keep the Honda Civic and have the Rivian at the same time? Well, because the Honda Civic is a giant piece of trash now. And unless you think I'm being a little bit unfair to the DCEU, let's remember that the last 7 films the DCEU, aka the Snyderverse, has put out, have all flopped horribly. You go all the way back to 2018 when James Wan delivered the one and only, well, Patty Jenkins also delivered the first Wonder Woman movie, which is a bona fide hit. And then James Wan in 2018, Aquaman, a bona fide hit. But since then, this is your 1996 Honda Civic right here. Black Adam with Dwayne Johnson couldn't crack. None of these films could crack 400 million. And by the way, as I read off these numbers, keep this in the back of your head. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which is a bad movie, and we all consider a huge flop for the MCU. Right? Huge flop. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania made 600. How much? What was that number?
Well, that was the Wasp, but I'll bring up Quantumania.
Okay,
but
whatever.
Anyway,
yeah, what was get that total number for Quantumania?
Sure.
But the bottom line is that Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which was again considered a big flop for Marvel, that made more than any of the last 7 DCEU movies.
yeah, it was still 476.
476, which means significantly more than any of the DCUs. Let's go back to this list. Black Adam with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made the most out of the last 7 with 393 million. The first Shazam, which I really like that movie, 367. The Flash just made 268 million when a lot of people were telling me, John, you don't understand. It's going to make $1 billion. Well, here we are. Birds of Prey, The Fabulous Emancipation, one Harley Quinn, 205 million. Wonder Woman 1984, 169 million. Granted, some extenuating circumstances with that. Nonetheless, $169 million. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, also some extenuating circumstances. Excellent movie, $168 million. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Why, you asking the question, why not just let Zachary Levi still be Shazam? Because Shazam! Fury of the Gods made $133 million. The DCEU is a trash pile right now. Again, like the Honda Civic analogy, at one point it had some promise, right? But even in its heyday, it was never massively successful. most of their films, other than Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman and James Wan's first Aquaman movie, none of the DCEU movies ever lived up to their potential. And I don't know why more people in our society don't recognize the glory of Henry Cavill as Superman. Why more of you don't understand that? But even to this day, I can't mention how great Henry Cavill is as Superman without having 50 people yell at me, Henry Cavill Superman sucks. And that's okay. It's all subjective. It's all good. But yeah, so for all those reasons, let's go back and revisit these again. The expense and resources of trying to run two cinematic universes at the same time. You're undermining the brand new DCU, which is desperately needed. You desperately need a new DCU. The fact that you're setting up a situation where WB is competing with itself, and the fact of the matter is, why would you keep going with this cinematic universe that is literally on fire in a dumpster behind a nuclear waste site? It would make no sense. And again, I say this as somebody who has positively reviewed every single DCEU movie except for Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 1984. I've liked all of them. I loved a couple of them, but as somebody who has loved these movies, I'm telling you, they gotta move on. They gotta move on. And the answer does not lie in, let's take this bleeding corpse of a cinematic universe and try to, not Five Nights at Freddy's. What's the one? Weekend at Bernie's it. That's what it is. People are trying to take this dead corpse of a DCU and Weekend at Bernie's it, like move around, make it look like it's alive. And I hate to say it because I'm looking forward to seeing the new Blue Beetle. I am looking forward to that movie. Oh, it's going to tank too. And Aquaman too? I think it can outdo Black Adam, but it ain't going to come anywhere near that 1 billion. Everybody's given up on the DCEU. It's done. It's dead. What does this Superman says to Batman? The bat is dead. Bury it. Or something like that. That's the DCEU, guys. And I say this as somebody who really likes those movies. So that's why I would say, nah, man. As ideal in some construct it may sound, it is just not practical in any way to try to run the old DCEU and the new DCU at the same time. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. Signing your life away to a big wireless provider is kind of like being trapped on a roller coaster from hell. Sure, it looks like fun at first. They probably even threw in a free phone, but now you can't get off. Month after month of insane bills and unexpected thrills, like overages and surprise fees. If that sounds like your current big wireless plan, it's time to get off the ride with Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are just $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for just $15 a month. You guys know before I came to Mint Mobile, I was paying triple what I am paying now on the standard big wireless plan, and I will never go back. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped right to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about that? Do you think there's a possibility that they could continue running DCEU movies with Zachary Levi as Shazam and Henry Cavill as Superman and all the running things, and have James Gunn at a separate time run separately another brand new DCEU? I really don't think it's possible at all or practical, and it's just going to lead to ruin and destruction. However you guys feel about that, maybe you've got some other points of view. Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you do the standard like and subscribe thing. And also don't forget, we have a daily podcast known as the John Campea Show podcast. You can find it on your favorite podcasting app of choice, like Apple or Spotify. Go subscribe to it today.